Sermon 10, Taking Offense. Matthew 11, verse 2 to 6 says, When John heard in prison about the deeds of Christ, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another? Jesus answered them, Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised from the dead, and the poor have good news preached to them. Blessed is the one who is not offended by me. When surrounded by doubt and uncertainty, it's easy to take up offense, to feel slighted towards someone who has disappointed us. The bottom line of our disillusionment is ultimately God. We tell ourselves that though we've done everything right and now have a tragedy to face, God is not fair, and that others don't suffer like we do. We soon find ourselves imprisoned and disillusioned by overwhelming circumstances. We doubt that God is enough. Pride in our good deeds rather than remorse over our bad deeds is what keeps us out of the feast of salvation. The problem is often self-righteousness and using a moral record to put God and others in their debt, to control them and get them to do what they want. It does little good for us to object to what God chooses to do. And when he told Moses, I am that I am, he was saying that he was who he was and not who we want him to be. God's ways are not our ways, but they are always right. And as we go through the trials of life, we can be confident that God is at work. Faith's most hardest tests come when we see nothing but evidence that seems to prove our faith is in vain. Our acceptance of what God has given is that God gives himself. Each separate experience of individual stripping, we can learn to accept a fragment of the suffering of Christ bore when he took it all. This grief that empties the hand and breaks the heart is accepted. There may be found something to offer. So we can give back to him who in mysterious exchange gives himself to us.